Meeting. Before we start, we've got a couple celebrities in the crowd tonight. Mr. Dale Denson, celebrity Dale Denson's in the crowd. Look at that man. And another icon, we have another icon in the stands tonight. To my left, Miss Teresa Mason. Look at Teresa, icon. So welcome y'all, welcome everybody. Thank y'all for being here and congratulations on all you've done this fall season, and we look forward to doing it. But we've got some order of business before we start that. We do have a public comment, so I need to read something, then we'll have public comment, and then we'll get to all y'all, okay? The following are the rules for public comment as stated in Board Policy 2310. Speakers will be limited to 3 minutes per person. I will be using a timer and will alert you when your time has expired. I would like to remind you that the board members generally will not respond to public comment except in request clarification. Once a speaker's name is called, they will approach the podium and state their issue. The following are not permissible topics for public comment: matters involving specific personnel or employees of the Board of Education, including employment conditions or complaints about specific employees. Complaints about an employee should be directed to the HR office and follow up there. Matters involving specific students in the school system, including student disciplinary matters. Obscene or vulgar language will not be tolerated, nor will conduct or language that disrupts the meeting or interferes with board's ability to carry out its work. As a board chairman, I may immediately terminate any comments which violate these rules. And we have one speaker tonight, and that is Mr. Gerard Morrison. Gerard, you got 3 minutes when you begin.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, everybody. Don't forgive me.
Good afternoon.
Catch my breath up. I'm running. First, I want to thank you all. Doing the John Coltrane Music Edutainment Fest back in October, I was so pleased and it made me so happy. I wanted to make sure I came here. All the school board members, I think except 3, y'all had things planned. Staff, superintendent, assistant superintendent, led by Melvin Ingram, some principals. We want to thank you all for coming out and letting you know that I've got a good spirit, that this administration is sincere about community. So edutainment, education, they are married. I've emphasized that at different ones. And also, it's tough on our heart, but there was a substitute teacher, 82-year-old Miss Millie Johnson Wright Haley. She passed, and her funeral was Saturday at 2 p.m. in Beaver Dam. But she was a devout teacher. As far as subbing, she had fun with the kids, and she was also she was humble, but she was also the founder of the AARP in the local chapter over 20 years ago. And she was working in the 60s and 70s with AT&T and technology. So we had STEM from an elderly African-American woman being spread in this county during that time. And a lot of times she's so humble that she didn't talk about it. But she got to meet J. Kenneth Lee, who y'all hear me talking about, who was the first black attorney to finish Chapel Hill's law school. Other stuff, I left my notes, but I just wanted to make sure I thank you in person for that. And again, it's October 4th. And if it's okay, Mr. Chair, we have a birthday girl in the house, your clerk, Jennifer, so make sure we acknowledge her. She's so humble and good. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Morrison. The chair declares there is a quorum of board members for the January 14th Richmond County Board of Education meeting. Will the board please come to order? Mr. Tillman.
Yes, board members, if you stand for a moment of silence.
Everybody can stand, please.
All right, please address the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Tillman. Board members, you have the open minutes from the December 5th meeting. Are there any changes needed? If there's no changes, the chair entertains a motion. Motion by Mr. Etheridge,
Second.
second by Mr. Baldwin. Any discussion? All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Dr. Farrell, any changes to the,
No changes.
say under consent of the board accepts the agenda? And we will start with our first order of business, and that will be Ms. Cameron Whitley. You're jumping in for her?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
We proudly recognize the North Carolina School Board Association winners from Richmond County Schools. The Richmond Senior High School Yearbook Club won second place in the high school video contest category. This is a significant achievement that we can all be proud of. So Richmond Senior High School Yearbook Club.
Bess, we're gonna do those pictures.
Are we gonna take pictures, Cameron? Awesome job.
Bess, you're a front row person over there.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Let me take a couple if you don't mind. Perfect. Thank you, guys. Congratulations.
We also have Richmond Senior High School Beta Club receiving an honorable mention for the high school video contest. Richmond High School Beta Club. Anybody here from Richmond Senior High School Beta Club?
Let's go crazy. Corey, let's go crazy back there. Yeah. Can you get in that picture? Can you get in that picture?
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you, guys. Congratulations. Hamlet Middle School has emerged as the middle school champion, winning first place in the middle school video contest category. So Hamlet Middle, please come up.
You guys stand up front. I'm speaking to you.
They can't get behind here.
Congratulations. All right. The individual winners from our schools who have also made us proud with their outstanding posters are West Rockham Elementary School, second place poster contest winner, Pablo Correa Montiel. Please come forward. All right, I'm gonna continue. Monroe Avenue Elementary School, honorable mention, poster contest winner, Brianna Ramirez, please come forward. mention poster contest winner, Victoria Garcia. Please come forward. Okay, she must not be here. West Rockham Elementary School honorable mention poster contest winner, Noelle Correa Montiel. For representing our board, our awesome board. Thank you so much. You represent us well at North Carolina School Board Association by being winners.
Miss Whitley, is it your turn, or? James, you're gonna do it? All right. Put you on the spot.
Hey, let's go. All right, so we got a few teams we want to recognize tonight that have recently won conference championships. First up's our middle school girls track team, and this is a group, they're only in their second year as a program. It's, been something that's been an effort by a lot of people in our county to start, so for them to have this kind of success early on just speaks wonders about what they're doing in the future of our track program. So, we want them all to come up, or we?
Yeah, come on. Definitely. I thought there was only a few participants for the football team.
We'll have to be on the front row for that one.
What is this? This is which team is it?
I don't know if you can call it.
It's not on my sheet.
Oh, here we go. All right, 1, 2, 3. Let me make sure I've got all your faces. All right, let me get the front row to squat just a little if you can. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Perfect, thank you.
All right, congratulations, ladies.
All right, next up, saw this team play earlier in the season at our middle school volleyball jamboree, and you can tell that they had a chance to have a really special season, and they went out and did that by winning the conference championship in middle school volleyball. It's the Rockingham Middle volleyball team.
Hey, Teresa, you get your flowers here. You get your flowers here. You getting your flowers. Go ahead.
Jerry. Move over between these two. Yeah, there we go. Lord. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Throw out faces. Hold on 1 second. Okay, good. Thank you, guys.
Congratulations, ladies.
All right, last but not least is the Richmond senior varsity football team. So, really great season for them, bouncing back. We had a couple lean years, and Coach Jess and his staff did a great job. And it took a lot out of the kids to kind of buy in and turn this thing around. So, we'd like to recognize them on winning the conference championship. Great season. You forgot you were in it? If you forget you're in the debate club, you might not need to be in the debate club. just saying.
You don't realize how big they are until you see them up close, you know, Bob said. Ronald,
Hey,
are they bigger
Dr.
today,
Fair.
or were y'all bigger when you were in high school?
They're probably bigger than they
Joe.
in high school. I was 225.
Yeah.
Ain't no way.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We're gonna have to
All right, so then you'll do.
Hey Jay, fine. How you doing, sir?
What you need? Hey, somebody get on the knee.
work on that. I
Jerry,
do not have a
you
teacher
just
voice
still
at all.
staying there, right?
All right, gentlemen, scoot tight. Coach Campbell. Not gonna happen.
Go-
You can always get on the front row in the middle.
All right.
Oh, you can hold that.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah, with the.
Do you know these kids will never forget this? Katie still talks about coming when they won a championship at Richmond Senior High School. We brought her over here one night.
You ready? 1, 2, 3.
Jay. I'm really glad you're back.
We're glad you're here. Very glad. Matter of fact, Coach Denson, that's the first name he brought up when I talked to him. Coach Denson, thank you.
Room's getting bigger.
We can give him a minute to clear out of here. I'm gonna give the room a minute just to clear out, and then we'll go back. Yeah, I was calling names out because they didn't change the names on this thing unless.
No, they didn't
What's
change
on?
the name.
It's your niece, right?
Don't feel good.
The volleyball coach. Was she here? Well, I didn't see her.
Yeah, she was here.
I saw Teresa, I didn't see her. They had a really good year.
All right, Coach Johnson, I think you can go on with your athletic supplement proposal.
Well, I'm a little bit disappointed. I thought everybody was here to hear me see. Guess the pressure's off now.
That's it.
So, a couple things. I want to start with winter sports participation, and I'll kind of go through that real fast. If anybody's got any questions, I think one of the big things that I like to see, on the first slide is boys basketball tryouts at 50 people trying out. So, I think the success that we've had there recently is kind of helping those numbers, helping us build the best basketball team possible. Girls basketball ended up keeping 22 total, and I didn't break it down JV and varsity wise because to me, it's a program. And, you might be JV today and varsity tomorrow, vice versa. But the fact that they're able to have a JV team now, I think, speaks volumes about where we're headed there. And then boys indoor track's another one. They got a really late start because Coach Rich does football, and the majority of those kids run football. So, I don't even think they've run a meet yet in between getting the late start, Christmas break and weather, so their first meet might end up being the conference meet, but, you know, for him to kind of get that number of guys out there with the late start, I think is really impressive as well. Swim, I'm kind of excited to see where swim's going. We had a total of 20 swimmers, and our coaches are really excited. They want to turn it to a little bit more of a program where they can get some increased practice time. And, you know, that costs a little bit of money, but if they're going to make use of the time, we'll find a way to make that happen. And get those people in the weight room. Bowling sitting at 18 total between boys and girls, and you know I think that's kind of impressive because you bowl 5 people at each match. You know, boys, female and male. So and then wrestling's at 21. And cheer is at 28 between JV and varsity, and you know cheer gets really great participation from the early college. So middle schools, you know obviously Rockingham Middle's basketball numbers are really impressive, and you know the fact they're able to keep some kids involved and keep those kids from being other places after school, I think is a really good thing. And then you know kind of touch on middle school wrestling. We've got 41 kids involved with middle school wrestling, and the way that program kind of gets run is Coach Elderby's kind of got an impact on the middle school as well. And they, you know, they do some things where they're kind of practicing simultaneously at times, and I think that'll really help that program continue to grow. So trying to keep it brief. And anybody have any questions about anything participation wise? Or
I'm just curious. I wonder what the reason is for Rockingham being nearly double participation on basketball. What are we doing there that we can do at these other schools to get the interest up?
I don't know. I don't know if it's just the amount of enrollment or if it's, you know, I'm not sure.
That's almost an anomaly,
you know,
in comparison.
I'll talk to Coach Bowden and see what he's done. You know, if there's anything he's done particularly to build that program and to get that level of interest. But you know, I mean, it's a pretty stark difference between them and Hamlet. Which is, you know, the two you'd like to see, you know, maybe a little bit closer. But 65 is an outstanding number to be able to put together 2 teams, and if we can kind of get that at Hamlet and grow the program, that'd probably be a good thing.
Yes, sir.
So, anything else? All right, I got all the good stuff out the way now. I've got a proposal with our athletic supplements, so hopefully that was enough good news to get everybody in a good mood. There's 4 sports, and I may not go in the exact order of my presentation, but there's kind of 4 coaching supplements I'd like to address: boys and girls soccer, wrestling, and volleyball. And as I go through that, the reason we kind of want to look at this is, one, to keep us competitive with surrounding counties. Anson County's volleyball coach makes $1,500 more a year on her supplement, or his supplement, whatever that is, than our volleyball coach. Wrestling is about 1,000 more in Anson County than our wrestling coach makes. So there, you know, and you're never going to match up to every county exactly, because I don't know where counties come up with stipend numbers, because they're all over the place for various sports. But I think we've got some good people in place, and I'd like to keep them in place. And you know, it's not a lot of money that we're asking for, but when you do that, I think it lets those people know they're appreciated. And then the other thing, and we can talk about it, is I kind of broke the sports up in my head on how things make sense, and bracketed versus non-bracketed is one way. And what I mean by that is, if you're a team sport and a revenue sport, and your sport has a bracket for playoffs, baseball, softball, football, volleyball, basketball, soccer, you know, those are, to me, are bracketed sports. When you get to more of your individual sports, they have a state championship system, but it's, you know, wrestling is essentially an individual sport. Track is essentially an individual sport. You have a team, and they can win a state championship, but that shot putter's results is not really affected by that sprinter's results on any given day. And so I kind of grouped it together like that, and then within those non-bracketed sports, I looked at outdoor track and field. You know, it's a longer season and a bigger season, and wrestling, and that they can both deal with a large number of kids at times. There's a lot of prep work, paperwork, preparation for your actual events, set up for practice that kind of tie together. And you know, I thought those were things we needed to do. And then, you know, one of my goals there is equity, and just looking at balancing those things, those sports that are very similar. You know, the 2 sports are nothing alike, but I think the amount of work that goes into those 2 are very, very similar. So if you look at some of our bracketed sports stipends, baseball, softball, and basketball are all, I'll just say, roughly $3,800. Soccer is sitting at close to $3,200, and then volleyball is an outlier at right at $1,900, and that to me doesn't make sense. You know, and you get a different coach in place, they'll do different things, but Coach Larson's going out, she's putting on free skills workouts for kids in elementary school. And, you know, she's not getting a lot of buy-in from the county, but she's trying to build that program. You know, every time she practices, she's setting up the gym, she's taking down the gym, she's doing all those things. And I just think the amount of work that goes into those two sports is very similar to those other three sports. You know, it'll never be exactly the same amount, but it's really close. And then when you look at our non-bracketed sports, like I said, I think track and field and wrestling are very similar in some ways. And, you know, lots of weekend events, things like that require some extra time that a lot of people wouldn't give up those, you know, 4 or 5 weekends for that supplement, much less all the practice time. And you can see that wrestling is a lot lower than track and field. So my proposal, what I'd like to see happen is, I would like soccer and volleyball to be equated to the other bracketed sports. I think that's fair and equitable for those coaches. And then I'd like to see track and field be equated to each other. Excuse me, track and field be equated to wrestling. So I think as we look at it, and I did a file on Google Drive where I kind of broke down the start of the season, when the seeding happens for the season, being when the playoffs are set and start to take place, and the amount of contests, and the amount of contests are just kind of fluky, for lack of a better word. It's not going to be consistent between sports based off of sport and even the amount of contests they can have within the week. So if you look at the things I'm talking about, the increase going into next school year would be roughly $4,000 a year. The maximum increase based off of our coaches now in their years of experience, where those same coaches are stay in place or they were replaced with somebody that had the top end supplement, would be $4,385.92. And you know, and my thought is, and I think all of them are important to be taken care of, but I'll be honest, I would like to do it retroactively for this year, because you don't know things until you know. But getting this job in mid-season, watching Coach Larson, I mean, she works and she's balancing a couple kids and a husband that coaches 3 sports in addition to her coaching 2 sports. And I mean, I think she's earned the right to be paid like those other coaches. And should she ever leave, you know, I hope we'd be able to replace her with somebody that's also earned that right. So that's my proposal. Like I said, I'd love to be able to implement it this season, this year retroactively, but I'll leave it on the floor with y'all.
You know, when we looked at supplements, what, 8-10 months ago, there was some outliers, and we made a point to say that to some of these sports right here. And so thank you for doing this work and presenting this to us in this format. So, because I do think that equity is a huge factor, and we need to keep good people in Richmond County.
If you look, Dr. Carter and myself kind of gathered information from a few counties, and I was looking back over Anson and Montgomery County, and that makes us very competitive with those in the majority of these sports. You know, it may put us higher in a couple sports, lower in a couple sports, but in the grand scheme of things, it puts us very competitive with them. And you know, I was kind of surprised we're behind Anson on a few things, and I don't really like that. You know, we don't play much in sports anymore, but that rivalry goes back a long way with me. So.
But we're equitable with our coaches within Richmond County. That's important.
Yes, that's very
really
important.
important.
You know, like I said, I look at those bracketed sports, and I think they need to be grouped together. I look at wrestling and track, and that gives me, if a coach ever came to me and asked, you know, why are these supplements the way they are, that gives me what I need to be able to talk to them. They may or may not agree with why it's that way, but I can back up my beliefs and my opinions, and here's where these sports are grouped together. Here's why, you know, golf and swimming are in indoor track or lower supplements than the other ones, and I can justify that. You know, if Coach Larson came to me right now, I'm not sure I could justify it, and I can say I'll keep going to bat till I get a yes.
Right.
So that's, you know, I'll leave that with you, and if anybody's interested in that actual file, other than just looking at it here, I'd be glad to share.
I was just gonna ask you, could we get a copy?
Yeah, it's in our stuff. Yeah. So you need a motion to approve this.
Yes, sir.
And he needs to know whether or not you all agree to pay it retroactively for the season that we've just finished, fall sports.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the Richmond Senior High School athletics coaching supplements as presented retroactive.
I got a motion on the floor from Mr. Baldwin. I got a second.
I'll second that.
Okay, you got a second by Ms. Tillman. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, so, are these coming out of local monies? Have we already talked with finance to make sure that we're good?
We're good. Dawn could not be here tonight because of a family situation, but we are good with this.
Okay, and even with retroactive too, we're okay now.
Yeah, what is the total number you're talking about?
I'll be honest, when I prepared the file, I didn't know a complete retroactive was even a possibility kind of until the last day. But the maximum increase in any given year based off of where we are now is $4,385.
Yeah, so.
So that's for the year?
Yes.
That would be
Or
for
that-
a whole year.
that's for
It'd
the
be less
whole-
than that this year doing it retroactively.
All
I
right,
think it
and-
would take us, with where our coaches are experience-wise, I think it would take us about 5 years to actually get to that level of pay. It'd be slightly less until they hit certain thresholds in experience.
And Mr. Chair, I just have a comment. I do appreciate, I echo what Corey said about the research and what you've done to make things equitable for the coaching supplements. And I really, having been in those shoes as far as a coach, and Mason, you've been there too, and Corey, you've been there as well. I mean, it's a lot of work and time that goes into it. And you'll never get paid for the work that you really, really do. So I'm pretty sure the coaches really appreciate this little bit of help.
It's amazing what a few $100s and extra t-shirt or hat or two would do for a coach's morale.
There's a lot of hidden things that coaches do, out-of-pocket monies that they spend, time that you can't even account for. And like you said with volleyball, I know Coach Larson is putting in just an enormous amount of time that she doesn't get paid for. So.
And I probably saw Coach Hill will be short on wrestling because the amount of the paperwork with tracking weight and that I've not learned it yet. I'm going to learn it, but just seeing what he has to do, and I get some of the emails sometimes. I'm like, phew. So it's a lot there. So.
Well, in wrestling with the middle schools getting numbers where they are, it only helps him, and he's probably doing more because of more
He's
individuals
highly
in Richmond County
involved
wrestling.
with the middle school wrestling program, yes, sir.
Yeah. Any other comments? So we have a motion by Mr. Baldwin, a second by Mr. Tim. We had discussion. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So you got it retroactive this year. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate y'all.
Thank you for what you're doing, James. Good evening, Dr. Smith.
All right, so good evening, Dr. Farrell, Chairman Satterfield, and members of the board. What?
You've been playing with the thermostat, haven't you?
It's hot as can be in here.
This is Kate temperature right here.
Mr. Ingram, can you turn that down just, instead of being 100 degrees, can you top it down to 95?
Why would y'all assume it was me? What happens when it gets really crowded and you don't know where I am?
Dr. Smith that messed with the thermostat.
Okay. Good evening, Dr. Farrell, Chairman Satterfield, and members of the board. Tonight, we're bringing you a few curriculum updates that we want to share as we move into our second semester of the school year. Want to give some shout outs and some real celebrations with forward progress that we are implementing in Richmond County. Okay, for K-12, for all of our students and staff, pre-K through 12th grade, we have a school-based professional development day coming up February 19th. This will be a day that our school leaders will provide PD in their buildings that is specific to the needs of the school. So if you are out and about, certainly stop by and see all of the great things that our teachers, our administrators, and our support staff will be doing on this day. Being part of our Cognia accreditation, we also have completed another round in all of our schools with the Student Engagement Survey. Schools are implementing this survey to students and analyzing the data from students to gain insights as to how to best engage them with learning, asking students specifically what their thoughts and perceptions are about teaching and learning. What do they want to see more of in class to keep them engaged and excited about school? So thank you to all of our schools making this information and using it as an opportunity to re-engage students. Also, I would like to recognize our District ML Community of Practice team. DPI has asked our team in Richmond County to present strategies this month at the regional meeting that our schools are using for our growing population of ML learners that will be replicated in other districts. So this is a state initiative, and our team has been identified as one that is making a strong effort to support this specific group of learners. I would like to celebrate and acknowledge the work of Mr. Marco Alcivar, Dr. Wendy Jordan, Ms. Jennifer Taylor, and Ms. Angel Mabe for working on this and ensuring that our schools are implementing the best possible learning strategies for our ML learners and providing this for the region. Also, EVOS training is well underway. Richmond County Schools has a solid focus on our goal 2, which is that every school will exceed expected growth. And this PD is being offered by our Testing and Accountability Director, Ms. Jennifer Taylor, who is ensuring that all teachers and administrators have the most up-to-date data reports and access to data that is possible to support maximum growth in our schools. This is our effort to ensure that Richmond County Schools has 0 low-performing schools. With our initiative on all things STEM, we are very excited that all elementary and middle schools have a robotics team. And they will begin building a robotics program for our students. Teams are currently practicing after school as a club. They are building robots and obstacle courses with plans to compete in challenges regionally this spring. So this program and these new fun experiences are being led by our STEM coordinator, Ms. Jill Rogers, who is ensuring that our students in Richmond County are being exposed to the world of STEM as early as 2nd grade, and these engaging and critical thinking challenges outside of the normal school experience on a competitive level. Also, completely new to Richmond County Schools, we now have a drone soccer team underway. Huge shout out to Miss Kristen Britt and Jordan Willett at Rockingham Middle School. They wanted to get started playing the game right away, so Miss Rogers delivered a drone soccer apparatus, not sure if that's the technical term, to their media center yesterday. So be sure you go check that out if you're out and about. So their students could get started practicing with drone soccer. A huge shout out to Ms. Rogers and the teachers who are willing to put in this extra time and effort to build this STEM program for our students.
Kate, now I've seen that firsthand about somebody building a robotics program in their county, and you don't know if it's ever going to work.
Right.
But when you see the number of participants and how students just love it, they go to it, and it just grows. And so I'm really excited about getting those kids, because again, it's all about participation, and the more things you can do to participate, it's going to be great. So
That's
congratulations, and thank y'all so much for doing that.
Thank you.
Is that robotic program, how do students get selected?
They're not, they sign up.
They're on there?
Yeah, they can sign up to be a part of the team.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's for everybody.
Yes.
Yep.
Absolutely. Okay, and also specific to middle school, upcoming for our middle school students is an opportunity to visit Richmond Senior and Reach before registration this year for the high school. So each middle school is now working to schedule a field trip to both schools, so they will have a firsthand look at each school's opportunities to begin their high school journey. So we're really excited about that. Specific to the high school, an area identified in need of support for Richmond Senior from our Cognia data survey. Ms. Haley Gordon is supporting the school's planning for honors and AP courses with 2 things that were identified. Number 1, a much needed focus on these courses, enrolling a more diversified population of students. And 2, new ideas with scheduling and the curriculum taught to support honors and AP exam pass rates. These are 2 areas with our advanced courses that Cognia recognized as an area for improvement. And so we would like to give a shout out to Richmond Senior for their collaboration and effort with this renewed initiative as well. Other efforts that are being made at Richmond, we will implement a CCP schedule expansion for the 25-26 school year. That will mean that seniors will be able to spend 75% of their day enrolled through RCC courses, which means they will only have to take one block at Richmond, their third block, as long as they have met specific criteria. This change comes as we have heard from the community and stakeholder feedback that this is a desire for our Richmond senior students. Also, an effort to engage students, increase our graduation rate, and support dropout prevention, Richmond Senior and the 9th Grade Academy have implemented monthly meetings led by our dropout prevention coordinator, Mr. Arthur Gillum, the administrative staff, and the counseling staff at both schools. These support meetings identify students at risk based on attendance, academics, behavior, and mental health concerns. Mr. Gillum is also implementing a new Mentor and Me program with the staff at both Richmond and the 9th Grade Academy. He has trained 15 staff at Richmond and 10 members at the 9th Grade Academy who have all committed to supporting our most at-risk students with graduation. So a huge shout out to the staff at both schools who are supporting this program as mentors. Additionally, Mr. Ishmael Gomez is leading the Evening Academy initiative at Richmond Senior. We could potentially have 6 mid-year graduates, have approved 4 new students for the spring semester, and could potentially have up to 20 graduates this year. So to say the least, this program has been a success. This is a celebration for the administration, the staff, and the students at Richmond, ensuring that this program is doing exactly what we planned to support the graduation rate and help students get on a pathway to earn a diploma. And CTE apprenticeships and internships are moving right along. According to Mr. Greg Norton, our CTE director, we have 11 interns who are finishing up for the first semester, and we have 17 internships confirmed for second semester, and possibly 8 more once the formal paperwork is finalized. So we want to acknowledge the hard work and the commitment to our students' experiences outside the classroom that Mr. Jason Parakis and Mr. Greg Norton do to ensure that our students are getting hands-on, real-world experiences that will help them on their journey through high school and beyond. And last, we have a few policy updates. The arts graduation requirement, if you remember that, we just wanted to communicate to you all that our middle school administrators, under the leadership of Miss Angela Gallagher, are making sure that our middle school students complete this graduation requirement in middle school, specifically in the 7th and 8th grade. The graduation requirement begins with our rising 9th graders. So we have very few students who will actually have to meet this in the high school now, which is a great thing. So Ms. Gallagher and our school's administrators are doing an excellent job of keeping up with these students, scheduling them, and making sure that they meet this requirement before they leave the middle school. For the computer science requirement, just a reminder that Richmond County Schools signed a waiver for that this coming year, and we will begin our computer science required courses in the year of 26-27. So if you hear any conversation about that. And then I would like to also let you all know that beginning this school year, there is a new citizenship endorsement seal that students can earn on their diploma. This opportunity is offered to any student interested in grade 12, and they will be given a 10-question test off of the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services site. They must answer 6 of those 10 correctly to earn this endorsement. So this test can be given orally, it can be given in writing. Our high school is working with the ML department and the counselors to select appropriate questions for our students if they are seeking this endorsement. And last, there will be changes to the credit recovery policy in case you hear anything about that for the next school year, 25-26. For those non-elective graduation requirement courses, Students will no longer be allowed to have a pass or fail, but we must give them a numeric grade only. So if you hear any conversation about that, that is definitely a change that will be implemented for next year. So again, we just wanted to bring you some updates, some where are we with initiatives and programs. I would like to say our teachers, administrators, directors, and all school support staff are working so hard to give our students the best experience possible, and we have a renewed focus on student engagement and growth for all students. Thank you.
Kate,
Any
I got
questions?
one question.
Sure.
I was reading something over the holiday break about the CCP
Yes.
and about community colleges or the high schools and their ADM. And that if students are not on campus a certain amount of time, it might not count to their ADM. Have y'all heard anything about that? Is there any, there's no question going on about that? Because
No.
there's one kids only taking one class, even though it's in their directory at the high school. I didn't know if they weren't physically on campus for one.
Yes, and I have asked that question multiple times, and so we have been given the guidance that absolutely your students do not have to be on campus
Good.
50% of the time. As being enrolled in RCC is being a Richmond Senior High School
Student.
student. Yes.
And that won't hurt our HR.
We
thing,
absolutely
so-
made sure that before we went down that pathway.
Great.
Yep. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Good stuff.
That's a lot of good stuff. Thank you for what you guys are doing, Kate. Miss Taylor. Good evening, how are you?
Good evening, Chairman Satterfield, Dr. Farrell, members of the board. Thank you. Tonight I want to present to you our Richmond County Schools Summer Program Plan proposal and ask for your approval. At the end of each year, our students participate in the North Carolina testing program of end of grade and end of course testing. The purpose of the summer program is to give students the opportunity to retake those assessments if they're within a point or two of proficiency. We believe that some students will achieve proficiency with a little bit of additional instruction and support. Students may be eligible to participate in the summer program in these tested areas. End of grade math at grades 3 through 8, end of grade reading at grades 4 through 8, and end of course subjects this year, English 2, Math 1, and Math 3. It's important to know that reading EOG is not available for re-administration at grade 3 summer programs. And this year, grades 5 and 8 science EOGs, as well as the biology EOC assessments, it's a standard setting year, so they are also not available for summer programs this year.
Jenna, can I ask you, what did you say, why are we not doing the third grade reading?
Because third grade reading is tied to the early literacy laws that govern third grade, and because we also have a summer reading camp for third grade. So at the end of the summer reading camp for third grade, all those participating students who were not proficient at the end of the year, the previous year on EOG, get another opportunity to take it. But we don't offer it as a summer program for those last 2 days of remediation and the 2 days of test re-administration. They get summer reading camp and then another test at the end of the reading camp.
Is it the EOG? Or
Yes,
is it
ma'am.
a different, is the
Mhm.
EOG test at the end of the reading
It is.
camp?
Yes, ma'am.
So they get longer than the two, what you're saying is they get longer than the 2 days.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir. They
right.
get the whole summer
right.
to remediate.
Thank you.
Is that good? Okay. So students who score within 1 to 2 scale score points of grade level proficiency in each of the tested subjects are eligible to participate, as well as any student who's invited by the principal or any student at the request of the parent or guardian. The dates of the remediation instruction are June the 10th and 11th, with elementary and middle schools meeting for 4 hours each day, and June 10 through 11 at our high school sites for 2 hours each day. Test re-administration is scheduled at all school sites on June 12th and 13th. It is our mission to provide a quality and successful testing experience for our staff and students in compliance with North Carolina testing program. So to do this, we will maintain the same practices and procedures as in the initial test administration. We will provide a trained school test coordinator at each site and complete appropriate test training, test plan, and handling of secure materials. Instruction and test re-administration will be provided at all Richmond County Schools locations, and I have them listed here for you, with Ashley Chapel students attending summer program at Richmond Senior High School as needed. The daily schedule at elementary and middle school sites is 8 to 12 all 4 days. High schools will meet from 10 to 12 on instructional days and 8 to 12 on test days. We plan to have a site coordinator at all sites and a test coordinator at the elementary and middle school sites. Site coordinators at the high schools will serve as both site and test coordinator. We're planning for 1 to 2 teachers per grade for each subject at elementary and middle school sites, and 2 to 4 teachers per subject at the high school sites. As far as transportation goes, transportation will be provided for all participating students. Transportation department will make the bus routes according to attendance zone. And child nutrition will also be provided to our students with breakfast and lunch at the elementary and middle school sites all 4 days. At the high school sites, grab-and-go breakfast will be provided all 4 days, and then on the extended test days, we will also provide lunch for those students. At this time, I would like to answer any questions you might have and ask for your approval for our summer program plan.
So if this is beyond our school calendar, so this money's already been allotted, is this already in the budget for this school year, Kate? Good. That's the only question I had.
Or do you feel like 2 4-hour days or 2 2-hour days is an adequate amount of time for remediation?
It's traditionally what we have done, and we have gotten marginally good results doing that, yes.
And so I would add to that question, we typically invite back students who are within 1 to 2 points, who maybe just had a little bit of anxiety the first time they took it.
Sure.
And so that 1 or 2 days of remediation is really all they needed to just take a breath, get back in there and try again.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the Richmond County School Summer Program Plan as presented.
So we have a motion on the floor by Mr. Tillman to approve the summer Richmond County program plan. A second by Mr. Etheridge. Is there any more discussion? All in favor by saying aye? Aye. All opposed? Thank you, Ms. Taylor.
Thank you.
Mr. King, thank you for trying to fix that thermostat back there. I saw you move back there. I'm gonna switch, cause this hot air's blowing on myself up here. I might switch seats with Kate in a second.
I hadn't noticed.
Yeah.
We deal with it every day.
Could you imagine having to share an office with her?
Oh, I quit.
I take Wednesday.
Mhm.
Or you can swing. That one goes, forward.
All right, thank you. Good evening, Chairman Satterfield, Dr. Farrell, members of the board. So I want to start with some construction updates, starting with Mineral Springs. So we've been in that building a little over 2 months now, and we've just really enjoyed the building. I know the students and staff they're just ecstatic about being in it, and having come from the mobile classrooms, as you can imagine, it's a pleasure to them. So we did get rid of the 5 mobile classrooms. There's still a few minor punch list items interior and exterior that we're working with the contractor to complete. The service road where we removed the mobile classrooms is still in progress. We ran into a little bit of issue with some underground stuff and a utility pole, so we're having to have Duke Energy relocate that pole for us. So that should start in next couple of weeks, and that'll only take a couple of weeks to complete. Any questions about Mineral Springs? All right, so moving to Fairview Heights, we've been in that building a little over a month. Again, I was over there, as you know, the last couple of weeks, been pretty cold weather, and to see the kids in there running around and talking to Coach McDonald, I'm like, what did y'all do before this? I mean, you can't even imagine now. I mean, I guess they either stayed inside or they went outside in the cold. So they're making good use of that building as well. Again, some interior and exterior punch list items there we're still working through. There's a section of the canopy in the front that was existing that they had to remove to put the building up. We've got to get that reinstalled, and there is a building dedication this Friday, the 17th at 2 o'clock, so hope to see you there. I did want to run through a little quick PowerPoint with you to show you the progress of the building at Fairview. So back in June of '23, this is the site that we started with. The building pad here. Moved into the slab. Started constructing the walls. The walls continue to go up there. And then this is the front entrance of the building now, looking from the parking lot near the media center. Back. Uh-oh, Catherine. I killed it. Uh-oh, sorry.
Stephen, while you're doing that, it's Thursday, it's Friday at 2 for Fairview Heights, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
The 18th. The 17th. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am. Friday the 17th at 2 p.m. Oh, this one goes back. Yes, ma'am. This Friday is 17th at 2 p.m. And I believe the heat is still on. Sorry. So that's the front, and that's the rear from the parking lot, and then that's the interior. So originally, just the wall pads were going to be the blue, and then you had some color in the lines in the floor. But we worked with Dr. Gardner and the architect and the construction company to do the HVAC ductwork in the blue and the beams in red. So I think it turned out pretty nice. I think somebody had the heat up so high it melted the contacts, and it won't go into air conditioned mode now. Not calling you names. So moving to the high school. Any questions on Fairview Heights? Moving to the high school. So we started this project about the same time as Fairview Heights back in June of 2003. We're still working on the interior HVAC, electrical, plumbing, and sprinkler work, rough ends. The roof is complete other than the trim. Bleachers, scoreboards, wall pads, other miscellaneous interior items have been ordered by the construction company. The drywall was delivered last week, so that'll start in the next couple of weeks. We have gas, electrical, sewer already ran to the building. We're still waiting on the water line that includes a backflow preventer for a new fire hydrant and domestic water for the building. So again, I want to take you through this project. Again, that was back in June of 2003 when we first started. Getting the site ready. And as you remember, probably November, December, January, we ran into several subsurface conditions where we had to just reconfigure some of the underground items, sewer, water, electrical that were in the site. So it caused a little bit of a delay. And then of course, rain and cold over the winter. We finally moved through that, got the building site ready about March. They started the footings and erecting steel in about April. Poured the slab, I think it was about May. Started putting up the walls and steel in about June. continuing with the second floor walls and steel erection and canopy on the front there. That's a view there from the front, doing some brickwork. This is the front, this will be the new entrance, covered walkway here. The new storefront glass and windows are all in. This is a rear corner of the building. Some of the interior photos, this is second floor, down a hallway. On your left there is some metal framing. There will be a graphic on that wall, all the way down that wall. To your right is looking down into the gym. This is the second floor upstairs connector between the new gym, or the existing gym, and E-building. So we're looking at E-building there, and the existing gym will be behind you. This is a view from the second floor looking down into the gym. This is first floor, the vestibule area. As you can see, ductwork, is going in, metal framing. This is a view. These three entrances here will come from the entrance, or the vestibule, to the entrance, and then that'll lead in. Those three double doors will lead into the new gym. This is a photo of the concession stand. There'll be two roll-up doors that come down to the countertop to close that area off, so you'll be able to come in, go to concessions. To your right there will be a set of water fountains. Restrooms are right to the right there as well, which is a lot more convenient than what we have now with restrooms, concession stands. The metal stairs have been put in the stairwells. They got to come back and place the treads in there. The roof is on. The HVAC unit's been set on the roof. They're being piped in with gas. Electrical panels, they're pulling wire and installing breakers. And this is a picture of the polished concrete mock-up. Polished concrete will be on the first floor and the second floor hallways. So that we've been some back and forth about that, trying to get to a level that we would approve, and something we can be proud of, especially when we walk in. When you walk in that lobby area, there'll be a Raider diamond in the floor, and it'll be the darker black color. It'll be outlined in that, so it'll look really nice. Any questions on that? All right.
Stephen, when do we say that project is going to project to be completed?
Muter's schedule is tracking now to be March. And most, all the items that could be long lead time items, we have procured and have in the building, like heating and air and electrical panels. I'm not gonna say we won't get down to the gym, and there might be something small, but most of the large ticket items, the biggest hurdle we have right now is just getting the water, the 6-inch water line to the building with the fire hydrant, and getting water on the building. All the sprinkler systems have been pressure tested, so I'm probably gonna say May. Just being able to probably move in the building. All right, any other questions on the construction projects?
Everybody good? Yep.
I did want to share, I met with Dr. Farrell on Friday. I need that one photo. Thank you. Regarding change order number 10 for the construction project. So out of 16 months of construction, we've had 10 total change orders. This change order was in the amount of $5,036.56, which included 3 different change orders. The first change order was a no-cost change order. It was just changing the gutters on the front canopy at Fairview Heights from internal gutters on the roof system to external. External, they're easier to maintain. There was no cost to do that. It was actually a benefit to us to change that. Second change order was an amount of $1,562.50. This was repair and replace some acoustical sealing in Mineral Springs. So during construction, and this didn't have anything to do with the construction project, we had some piping down the hall that we had to replace. So we had to take out part of the ceiling. So Muter's ceiling people just happened to be there, so we negotiated with them to come fix our part. We couldn't even buy the material hardly for $1,562. They were already there, had the extra material, so we negotiated that with them. The final third change order was for Fairview Heights. The new fire alarm system, we thought originally it was just gonna have to go from the new gym over to that pod building, but we ended up having to go an additional about 300 feet over to the media center to tie it in, and that was the $3,474. For those three total, $5,036.56. So over the project of 16 months, 10 change orders total $40,924.43. So this is 0.2% of the original contract. So it's, in the grand scheme of things, very minor. Any questions on that? All right. Final thing here, the roof at Rockingham Middle School, the part that was, can I make that any bigger? Maximum. Or zoom out, maybe. Yeah, so just so I can see the whole. Yep. So the part that you see highlighted in, I guess it's a greenish color, A, B, C, and D, that part of the building, or that campus, was rebuilt in, I think it was 2004. And they used a synthetic slate shingle roof. It looks like the old style slate that you'd see on historical buildings, and it was in a panel of 3 slate pieces. And I've been here 5 years, and we've been plagued with roof leaks at that school. And so after working with REI Engineering, who we typically use for all our roofing projects, come to find out the company that manufactured that product is no longer in business. So we decided this is one of the projects we wanted to undertake this year to replace a roof. So in working with REI, well, first I went to the city to see, since it's in a historical society, can we even use a different material? We didn't want to go back with the same material because we've had the same problem. We'd rather use a standing seam metal roof that will last 50 plus years. So I did go to see John Massey in planning and Monty Crump, the city manager, and when I walked in the door and started explaining it to them, they said, do whatever you need to do. We have the same exact roof on our building here. We've had nothing but problems with it. It was put on at the same time, and we have to replace ours. So they're having the same problems we are. So I say all that to say, on January 8th at 2 p.m., REI facilitated a sealed bid opening at our maintenance department. We solicited these bids through the help of them. We received 4 bids for the project. Highest bid being $734,328. The second highest was $680,000. Third highest $665,000, and the lowest bid was $509,640 from Davco Roofing. So there's a good bit of difference between the second lowest and the second highest. So we had REI to call the contractor to make sure their number was good, for one. And REI does have experience working with this company, so they are a reputable company. So we feel comfortable moving forward with this project. So REI submitted a recommendation letter to contract with Davco Roofing. And we did select one of the 4 alternates. One of the alternates that we selected, there's 4 half-dome louvers on the 3-story classroom building. And it has copper on it now. We need to take those copper panels off and put the same metal panels on it. If you put the copper against the regular metal, the galvanic action can cause corrosion, so we need to replace that. That was an additional $14,700. So the total contract amount would be $524,340. This would come out of the maintenance budget that we kind of set aside typically every year for roofing projects. We usually do projects somewhere between $350 and about $480,000. But we hated not to be able to do all this at one time, use one material, one roofing contractor, and just have it done. So we're trying to make it happen. So this would be an action item, so we're seeking board approval to replace the roof, Rockingham Middle.
Go ahead, I got a question too, yeah.
All right, so like with with Davco, now what is the warranty? Are they giving the warranty on the roof, and how long is the warranty?
I did ask the question on that. So the finish on the metal panels is a 30-year. The manufacturer provides a 20-year watertight warranty, and there's a 2-year workmanship warranty. So let's say year or 2 years, 1 month, what happens? So you go, well, first we call the company that installed it, and typically they will come back and they'll take care of it. If they didn't for some reason, we can go to the manufacturer that actually sends a rep out after it's installed, and they certify this roof has been installed as per the manufacturer's recommendations. The manufacturer would try to get the roofing company to do it. If they weren't, or they weren't cooperative and come back out, the manufacturer will actually hire a different company for 20 years to take care of the roof. So to answer your question, we get a 20-year warranty on the material and the installation, and the finish on it has a 30-year warranty. Now, this building is a perfect candidate for metal roof. It's there's only 2 valleys and there's 4 dormers. Most of it's just straight runs. There's not a lot of cuts, vents through the roof or anything. So this roofing project, you know, with the right material, the right installation, will last 50+ years easy.
And it's a sloping, is it a flat roof or
No,
sloping?
sir, it's sloped.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say it's probably somewhere between a 4 on 12 and a 6 on 12. Yes, sir, it has a lot of slope.
The current roof right now, what was the life expectancy of that roof? Do we know?
I think it was 30 years.
So just to ask, is there hail damage up there? Is there any other damage up there that something was caused that it's
No,
leaking?
We do contract with a roof and maintenance company that does roof maintenance. They do inspections and general maintenance on all our roofs twice a year. And every time we get a work order for a leak, you know, it's somewhere not at the edge, but by the time they get to where the leak is, they damage 4, 5, 8, 10 tiles trying to get to that, and then they have to repair that on their way back. So the tiles are just super brittle, and like I said, Monty Crump, city manager, said they're plagued with the same problem. You can ride by there right now and you'll see tiles that are broke off and slid down in different places of the roof, and you can walk around the building sometimes and they'll be laying on the ground. So
Is that the only building we have with that material?
yes, sir.
Thank God.
It's because of the historic stuff.
Yes, sir.
It's crazy that a 20-year-old building, which is a 20-year-old building, you were there, Darryl, when they were building it, that needs a new roof, but I fully understand. So we need a motion to approve the bid.
Yes, sir.
By whom? What's the name of the company?
Davco, it's,
Dabco?
and all this is in your board.
Yeah,
notes.
I read it last night.
DAVCO Roofing and Sheet Metal LLC.
I make a motion to approve the bid.
Have a motion by Ms. Ormsby, second by Mr. Tillman. Any other further discussion? All in favor by saying aye? Aye. All opposed? So when will that start, do you know, Steve?
The roofing company will have to submit shop drawings to the engineer, so that'll probably take, I mean, our goal is to have it done in this physical year. So
Right.
to answer your question, I would say 60 days probably. And that project will take about 2 months,
Okay.
just another 60 days.
Does this hurt your budget? Because I know, as you said, between 300 and 400.
It does. It's about actually a little over a fourth of our budget.
Mhm.
But we knew this project was coming up, and again, we looked at, you know, do we do half of it this year and half the other year? But as it got closer to time for bid, you know, I wanted to do it one company, you know, do it one time and get it over with and move on.
Thank you for what you're doing.
All right, thank you.
Does anybody need a break or anything? Because this next presentation might be a little longer. We good, or?
I'm fine right now.
All right. Dr. Carter, good evening, sir.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Dr. Farrell, Chairman Satterfield, members of the board. Tonight, I'd like to give you a short update on our approved facilities changes from our November the 12th meeting. On November the 12th, as you recall, The school board approved the closing of the ninth grade academy, moving the ninth grade students and staff to Richmond Senior for the fall of 2025, closing the James building and relocating the exceptional children's department and preschool department to the ninth grade academy, repurposing the ninth grade academy to accept the RCS Monroe staff and students beginning the fall of 26, and closing Monroe Avenue Elementary School. The first stage would be to move the students and staff from Richmond Senior High, ninth grade academy to Richmond Senior High School at the end of the 24-25 school year, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. For purposes of keeping everything where it's not confusing, the proposed name at this time, it'd be Richmond Elementary School. It was Richmond Primary to start with, and of course you guys would have to approve that, but it's just confusing to call it ninth grade academy when they're not there anymore, so.
Joey, let me ask you a question real quick though. I think Eva, you probably know this, but isn't it the board's responsibility to name schools?
Yes.
Is that's so it's the board's responsibility?
Yes, we
Yep.
do have
A policy.
on naming. I think it's gonna be in the 9,000s.
Mhm.
Kind of pull it up.
Right,
but-
just for placekeeper.
Yeah.
We're gonna call it Richmond Elementary
Yeah,
School for now.
definitely. Thank you.
The second stage would be to Human Resources will notify all ninth grade staff of initial placement for the 25-26 school year by June the 1st, 2025. These moves, the moves when we send people from the ninth grade academy over to the high school, may cause redundant personnel at high school. So in other words, you may have 2 bookkeepers, you may have 2 data managers, you may have 2 receptionists. So additional moves may occur as other positions open in the district. Staff will be given boxes like they were in 2008 for them to pack up their own stuff. Maintenance will organize the move of equipment and materials to Richmond Senior or other designated facilities in June and July of 2025. Office employees will complete the final moves to Richmond Senior or other facilities by June 30, 2025. They'll close it out. In order to accommodate everyone, changes will have to be made at the high school. So that's the next thing, the third stage. So we're having to do some renovations at the high school. And of course, maintenance is doing a whole lot of work trying to figure out exactly what we gotta do. Dr. Farrell, myself, Joyce, Stephen are around there a lot. And we've had a team of people doing transition meetings trying to identify rooms where everybody goes. And then we had to identify areas where we need to grow a little bit. And there will be 3 additional classrooms will be built in the media center at the very back. So if you know where the media center is, if you look straight to the very back, about a third of the library will be used up for that. So 1 room, 2 rooms, 3 rooms. They'll all have windows, so that'll be nice. There'll be 20 by 24, 27, 20 by 27 rooms. So pretty decent sized rooms. A new office will be constructed in the additional, for an additional guidance counselor in the guidance suite. An additional classroom will be constructed upstairs in the gym area. CTE computer lab will be eliminated in the E-building to create an industrial technology classroom. The room designated for a second art room, which is downstairs in the E-building, you know where art room is in the back left corner, the first rooms you come into, will be expanded a little bit. There's an office area. We're gonna have some windows taken out to expand it, make it a little bit bigger. We wanna make sure that our kids enjoy art, and we wanna make sure that there's enough room for the kids to have it, as, you know, to accommodate the extra ninth graders that are gonna be there. The 4th stage will be closing the James building and relocating the pre-K and exceptional children's departments to ninth grade. So, I've done it again. I keep touching it. Thank you. Pre-K and EC preschool will be transferred from the James building to the ninth grade academy. They'll begin operations on July 1st, 2025. The EC department housed in James building will be transferred over there and will also start July 1. All Richmond County Schools equipment materials will be moved from the James building by November the 1st. We give a good little padding of time for that. Hopefully it will be quite enough to get it done. Hopefully we'll get it done before then, but we want to leave a little bit of room. The James building will then be offered to the Richmond County government in the September, I'm gonna say the September meeting, I think we'll be ready to do it by then, by the Richmond County Board of Education. The fifth step, and probably the most involved step, is repurposing the ninth grade academy to accept Monroe Avenue students and staff beginning the fall of '26. We're going to have the Exceptional Children's Department, well, they have already done it, actually gone over and taken a look about the areas that they're going to be working in. We're going to have to modify a few things for pre-K, but coming up this school year, the moves that we have for the EC, pre-K, the pre-K, and the regular Exceptional Children's programs, they can just fan out in the building. It won't affect them. They can just work. And we will take the time, starting sometime next fall, starting to make the changes. We're going to have to add a wall to create 2 rooms for pre-K. There'll be 3 pre-K rooms there, but there's one big home ec room, I think it's what our industrial technology room. It's going to need to be split. We're certainly going to have to do some playgrounds. We have assessed that. We met with April of Bars Playgrounds, Dr. Farrell, myself, Melanie, and Stephen. And she's developing a plan and cost estimates for us. And hopefully we'll get those soon. I was hoping to have them ready for you today, but it didn't happen. She said she would send them to me this week. So at the work session, I'll be able to tell you a lot closer about what it's going to cost. Repurposing the ninth grade academy to accept the kids. We'll still need to do some changes. We're still developing the plan. Renovations, again, will take place in the fall. So interior of the school will be painted. We're projecting it to cost around $60,000. The sidewalks, we're projecting around $8,000. Fencing, preliminary costs about $12,000. Pre-K classroom, admin, play-based assessment areas will be renovated. We're thinking probably $15,000 for that. Plumbing, lower everything, get the water fountains in the right spot, get cabinets in the right height. There's different regulations for pre-K, for the heights of stuff, or elementary. So we got to do some moving on those things. So that'll cost a little bit of money, around $20,000 for that. We want to do a pre-K or a K2, a 3-5, and a pre-K playground. Pre-K playground will not take a whole lot, but the K2 and the 3-5 will cost, I think it'll cost right much. We don't have projections on that yet, but playground equipment is very expensive. So we'll try to have those numbers for you coming up. The final thing will be closing Monroe Avenue. Monroe Avenue staff will box up all the materials after the 25-26 school year ends, just like ninth grade academy is going to do this year. Maintenance will be responsible for moving everything over to the ninth grade academy or Richmond Elementary. And the office staff will officially close Monroe Avenue by vacating the premises and relocating the ninth grade academy on June 30th, 2026. Are there any questions?
Julian, is there any way we can repurpose the baseball and softball fencing out there?
Stephen and I have talked about it. Stephen is looking. We actually considered moving some recently. The particular area that we were wanting to move it to, it wouldn't work very well for. We're looking at the softball field at Rock Meadow. We've got a lot of nets, and it's going to require, it looks like, some poles to go in front of the plate so the ball won't curve back. So we don't think that's a good place to put it. Certainly, we've investigated, we've looked into it. We're going to repurpose all the bleachers and stuff at the ninth grade academy. One of the things that are on our list for projects is to move a large set of bleachers out to the high school. At ninth grade academy, if you've ever been over, there's a huge set of bleachers. And they're just sitting there. So we're going to take them to the practice field at Richmond because, in the summer, there's 200 people out there at any given time. Give them a place to sit down, and we'll actually have somewhere for them to go. Hamlet just got some bleachers a couple years ago, so they really don't need any. Cordova's in a good spot. Emory's in a good spot. So, but we do have some other small sets that we're going to move around too. So yeah, that's certainly something that we're looking at, and we'll eventually do. Especially, and we start getting into the possibilities of middle schools and whatever, that will be good fencing because it is. I mean, it's in very good condition.
You don't fence that school in or anything, do you? Elementary school, will that school be fenced in? No, it won't be.
Right
'Cause
now,
it wasn't as Richmond Primary, I don't think.
Right
so.
now, we're not planning on doing
Yeah.
it. We are planning on the, K2 playground area.
It has to be, yeah.
It'll be fenced in. Anything else? Thank y'all.
Thanks, Dr. Carter. So we have a substitute tonight. Hey, Tracy, how are you? We've got 1,000 questions for you.
There will be no questions for
asked.
Tracy tonight.
Good evening, Chairman Satterfield, Dr. Farrell, and members of the board. You have before you on board docs budget amendment request 11, 12, and 13. Budget amendment 11 is an increase in state funds in the amount of $402,313. Budget amendment number 12 is an increase in federal funds in the amount of $1,928,982. And budget amendment number 13 is an increase in other local funds in the amount of $83,652.22. At this time, I'll be glad to take any questions the board may have, and we are also seeking board approval for budget amendment requests 11, 12, and 13.
I'd give anything if I had a good question.
I knew, I was like, Bobby Sue will probably do me in.
I'm thinking.
Well, one good thing in all amendments is increases, so that's always.
Yeah.
That's always good.
More money, so that's good.
I'll get you next time, Trace.
We have a motion by Mr. Etheridge for approval of budget amendments 11, 12, and 13. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Ormsby. Any discussion? Now's your time. All in favor by saying aye? All opposed? Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you.
We'll report back to Dawn that you did fantastic. Mr. Ingram, good evening, sir.
Chairman Satterfield, Dr. Farrell, members of the board. In board docs, you have a list of policies presented last month for review. This being the conclusion of the 30-day review period, I would like to present these policies for adoption. 2302, remote participation in board meetings. 3225, 4312, 7320, technology responsible use. 3227, 7322, web page development. 4334, 5035, 7345, use of unmanned aircraft drones.
So we're looking for a motion for those four policies.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the policies as presented.
So I have one motion.
Second.
Second by Mr. Baldwin. First by Mr. Tillman, second by Mr. Baldwin. Any discussion? I just want to say that you reading those policies, the unmanned aircraft, that's a doozy.
That's a doozy.
And also then what we even talked about last time about board meetings and
That's a
remotes.
doozy too.
It shows up right there.
And the unmanned aircraft policy has been on this for review at least 4 times since you and I have been on this
Yeah,
board. It's been on there a
exactly.
lot.
It's just
Keeps
updating
on
language
changing.
over and over.
Yeah.
It's just constantly changing. Yes.
Yeah.
I know, it'll probably change again, won't it? It'll be AI unmanned drones or whatever.
Any other discussion? All in favor by saying aye? All opposed? Thank you, Mr. Ingram. Policies for review.
In board docs, you have a list of policies that we would like you to review or present to you for a 30-day review. 4040, 7310, staff-student relations. 4120, domicile or residence requirements. 4329, 7311, bullying and harassing behavior prohibited. 5022, registered sex offenders. And you'll find your field trips in board docs.
Thank you very much.
We're gonna tear up stuff.
Ms. Bendel, I guess it's you on Power School. Your favorite subject.
Yes, absolutely. Good evening, Dr. Farrell, Chairman Satterfield, and members of the board. So this evening, I just wanted to bring to your attention a Power School incident that took place over December, started in December, but if you have a packet, that if you'd like to follow along with me, you can. I'm just gonna read over it with you. So around 2 p.m. on January 7th, Power School sent an email notifying all North Carolina public schools and DPI about a cybersecurity incident impacting student and teacher data across the entire client base, but later informed individual districts if they were included. Richmond County was notified on January 10th. The incident is contained and the data is destroyed. The dark web is being monitored by law enforcement agencies. Power School worked with 2 cybersecurity companies to gain assurance of data destruction. So all North Carolina PSUs who have ever been on Power School were part of this incident, impacting records from summer 2013 to the present. So no actions by the PSU or by DPI could have prevented this event. The threat actors used Power School administrative access with a backdoor entry at the cloud level. This is a global incident. Some teachers' social security numbers may have been impacted. All legal notifications will be conducted by Power School. And so on the last page, there is just a little timeline of events. Just to give you a quick overview, on December 28th, Power School was notified by the threat actors that student and teacher data had been accessed. Forensics saw threat actors gain access on December 19th. So Power School has been working with 2 specialized cybersecurity companies since then. And then from December 28th to January 7th, Power School gained assurances and put security modifications in place to ensure that the school information system, which is Power School, has no more ongoing threats and system compromises. And so we just wanted to give you a quick overview of what has taken place and to give you a notification. Any questions?
As far as parents been notified, did Power Schools or anybody notify parents of this breach, just so they'll just be aware of
So
it?
the state has given a template just as of, I think it was yesterday, for us that we can follow or we can add to and do a public release, which will take place tomorrow. Mm-hmm.
If I may, whether or not you have to contact specific individuals depends on what data was lost, and specifically where the law requires you to contact individuals is if it's sensitive information that essentially could lead to their financials, social security numbers, driver's license numbers, but other stuff, if it's students' email addresses and that sort of thing, that wouldn't necessarily lead to contacting individuals. So that's where I think DPI and Power School are supposed to be working on those notifications. But have they shared with you yet the data fields that were?
They have shared the ones that could have possibly been, but we do not have an exact of who has been affected as of yet.
When this has happened before, at a certain point, if we know, like, all students, at a certain school between this and this year, we may just sort of notify the ones we have on record and do our best. But in this case, because this is a state, essentially, this is Power School under contract with DPI, not with Richmond County Schools. So it is really up to those 2 to help make those notifications.
And so Power School has said that they would be reaching out individually to those that were affected. Some of the fields that were, given as could have been possibility is we may have not even had things in those fields. For example, students, we had no student social security numbers in there. So that's why Power School will be doing all of the contacting. But we'll give a press release tomorrow.
Would student ID number be considered? Okay.
Because it can't get you really to their bank accounts, that sort of thing.
And so all of that data that was breached, it has been destroyed. So that is a good thing.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Welcome.
Comments from board members. Mr. Etheridge, you would like to go first? I know you've got a list over there.
I want to say thank you to Kate Smith again. I was able to go to all the concerts this year except one. And then I called Angela Mabe and I said, are y'all going to do this on the day y'all get out for Christmas break? She said, we are. And she said, I want you to come see a special thing that we're doing too. And that's when she displayed a big banner that said $100,000 for playground equipment, which was a big deal. So, you know, that. And another thing, I think sometimes we don't hear about it, sometimes we don't see it. But I wanted to remember Daryl McSween's family, Dozine Rush's family. Another person that passed away that used to work at high school, Austin Bryant, passed away.
Sure did.
And also Bill Linton, he used to work with Wayne Stevens as an auto mechanic instructor. And I have, you know, it had to be back in the 80s. But he passed away probably at 90 years of age. And I wanted us to remember those families.
Thank you, Jerry.
The only thing I would just say, kind of, you know, going on what Jerry said, I know we've had, you know, several staff members that have lost family members. I know Horace Green, who was a custodian, just lost his father and just buried him this weekend. So I agree. Just keep
What a
all the
fantastic man.
Yeah.
Unbelievable man.
Yeah. So just keep all those families in our school system in your prayers and thoughts.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I'd like to give an update on the Educational Foundation. We had a meeting today, and I'm just real pleased with the direction that the Education Foundation is going. Dr. Farrell and Jody Williamson, who is the president of the, or chairman of the committee, did a video, and if you haven't watched it, please do, because they ventured out. They're doing everything they can to gain teachers, keep teachers, and I'm just real pleased with the direction that they're going. But they've started a new grant opportunity. It's called Empowering Educators Grant, and every single school is going to get $1,000 for, and the teachers have to apply. Like I said, if you watch the video, it's on there. But each person that wants to applies for it, and all schools will have one recipient of $1,000, and they will do whatever they have written up for their grant. That's what they can do in their classroom. So anyhow, and then they're going to do the scholarships again this year at the high school. In fact, I think they'll probably do more than they did last year. So there'll be a report on that soon. But and then the skeet shoot, or the whatever, you know, the shoot that they do it up at DeWitt's. They're doing that as a fundraiser. Y'all mark that on your calendar. That's April the 4th. And you can come and participate, you can come and volunteer, you can be a sponsor or do anything. But anyhow, the foundation is really moving forward. That we have good attendance at each monthly event, and they're really putting their heads together and working hard to improve the teacher capacity, make sure we have all the, you know, all the benefits that we can possibly give to teachers. So anyhow, just an update on that.
Just to piggyback on Bobby Sue, I went to that DeWitt's Sporting Clays event last year. It was first class. It was really good. I enjoyed that. Next thing is, where can we find this videos that we can grade Dr. Farrell on his acting?
I'll be happy to forward that to you.
It was on the
Pay close attention to Jody Williamson. He did an excellent job.
Well, thank you for sharing that. Anybody else? Dr. Farrell?
Yeah, before I get started, I want to give just a minute to Dr. Carter. He wants to share something.
I just noticed we have with us tonight Miss Casey Knight. She was one of my students at Fairview High School a long, long time ago. She was studying. But I wanted to brag on her and her mom and Rockingham Rescue Squad for what they did for us during football season. It has gotten extremely expensive in order to have someone on standby at the ball here, they came out, they brought Rockingham Rescue Squad's ambulance. Their job was to stabilize people, and if they needed to be transported, first help would typically come out and they would assist, and do the transport. But it was, they did it for free, didn't cost a thing, they took their time, and I just want to thank you and your mom, and I wanted to throw up a big shout out to Rockingham Rescue Squad for what they did assisting first help and
It is.
make sure our student athletes and members of our crowd, we had several people in the crowd get sick this year, and they took care of them, so thank you.
Wow. Yeah, thank you very much. That's a lot of time. Thank you so much.
And she always does it with a smile on her face.
Thank you, I appreciate that. And I do wanna say, I was one of those students at the Fairview Heights with no gym, and we were out there in the cold
Go
and the
weather.
hot. So I told my students the first day that they got to go into the gym, that they were gonna sit on the wall and I was gonna play in the gym. My time now, and they had to sit. No.
Okay, so I'm going to go off script a little bit. You all know I come with a script for this, but I was just sitting here thinking just a minute ago, you know, I'm coming up on 2 years here, and I spent 5 years in my last district as superintendent, and I know I told you all when I interviewed here that I was not unhappy in the district that I was in, and I was not. I had a really good experience there, and so it took a lot for me to leave a place where I was happy, but as I was sitting here just now looking at all the things we're doing, you know, I mean, all the construction projects, all of the great things we're doing to support students in our curriculum department, with Evening Academy and things like that, all the things, athletics, James did an outstanding job tonight of sharing that, recognizing all of our athletes and all that, and we're doing a lot, and I just wanted to just pause as, you know, and just say, what a great team I have. So thank you to all of them for all the great work that you're doing, and it goes deeper than just my direct team of, you know, Tisha and Cameron and Dawn and Julian and Melvin and Kate, but you got Stephen in here tonight. You know, we had James Johnson in here tonight. Catherine has done an excellent job with taking over technology, and so and even our guy back there in the back box. So Timothy's doing a great job too, and I just want you all to know that it was a really good move to come here, and I'm really glad that I did it. And this a huge part of that has to do with the team who's getting all the work done, and I'm grateful for that. And thank you to the board for your support. And so, along those lines, we do, January is Board of Education Appreciation Month. I know that when you came in tonight, there were some gifts on your table, some from the schools and different things. But the one that looks like this here is from kind of all the district for the board for your appreciation, or to say thank you for all that you do. And then a number of our schools did come and leave things with Jenny. And yes, happy birthday to Jenny today. So she also does an excellent job of keeping things in order and dealing with my calendar. I mean, that alone is a huge accomplishment. So thank you also to Jenny, and thank you to all the board during the month of January for all the great things that you all do to support our students and our employees. We are almost officially halfway through the school year. On January 16th, we have a work day on Friday, the 17th, and of course you all have already heard that we have the Fairview Heights gym dedication at 2 p.m. that day, and we're excited to do that. The Martin Luther King Jr. celebration goes on this coming weekend with a number of events that we've already sent to you all, and that will culminate in the luncheon on Monday the 20th, and I know you have that information. And then I know that Julian did a great job tonight of sharing information with you about the things that you've done related to the facility study already. He has also given you a notebook to spend some time reviewing, because we have a work session on January 28th where you all can hopefully make some additional decisions about next steps with the facility study and the things that we do. So that's my information for tonight. and I'll forward that video to all of you.
Well, Dr. Farrell, I guess hopefully I can speak for the board. We want to thank y'all for thinking of us during this appreciation month. We want to thank the schools for doing what they do. We want to thank the entire team for the endless amount of work that you guys are doing on a consistent basis. And Richmond County Schools is in a really, really good place under your leadership. We thank you. And I feel like our board is going above and beyond and trying to figure out what's best for Richmond County Schools and Richmond County School students and parents and community members. So I think we're going in the right direction. So under your leadership, thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay, so at this time, the chair will entertain a motion to go into closed session under North Carolina General Statute 143-318, 11, A, E, and 6. Do I have a motion? Motion by Mr. Mason, second by Ms. Schuler. Any conversation? All in favor by saying aye? All opposed? We are in closed session.
Can I have 2 minutes?
I got 5. I need 5.
Okay. And there's
thumbs.
Did he give a thumbs up?
Chairman Satterfield, Dr. Farrell, members of the board, on board docs is a personnel report and addendum. I'm asking for approval at this time.
Make motion.
Make a motion for the approval of the personnel report, second by Mr. Mason. Discussions? All in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you, Dr. Esser. So we gotta put up with Mr. Butler again, huh? Just before we adjourn, Julian, thank you for doing this book. I've just peeked out a little bit, but our next meeting, our work session in 2 weeks, will be about next steps and moving forward and where we want to go, and what we see over the next, couple of years. Please make sure that you look at this, and if you have any scenarios that you think are worth saying, just let's talk about them. But I think that we can move forward, and I'm glad we're doing these work sessions this year, because it gives us an opportunity just to focus on one thing. So please look at this book, write questions out, ask questions when we get there that day, because hopefully we can start moving forward. As you saw tonight with Julia's presentation, we are moving forward with that, and a lot of good things are happening for Richmond County Schools. So just please make sure you take time to look at this. Does anybody else have anything for the good of the cause? All right, need a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Baldwin,
I second.
second by Bobby Sue. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Have a great night, y'all.